Hey, beautiful people. How are you? Going to give people just a few moments to pop on with me since this was short notice. While you're coming on, first let me tell you that I am streaming on YouTube, Facebook, and my private group, and on my personal page. And I am also on my Instagram at Planted to Flourish. So you can grab me in any of those places. The replay will be up for one day. So if you miss me today, it will be up until Saturday, and I might leave it up over the weekend. I'll decide. But if you miss me now, there will be a replay for a short amount of time. And hopefully, if you're catching it on the replay, you will let me know in the comments. Let me know if you team replay or if you team live. If you are live with me now, thank you so much for spending your evening with me. I appreciate it, especially since this was short notice, right? So before we get started, tell me where you're popping in from. Calling in. Y'all not on the phone. Me, I'm in Southern Maryland. I'm below Waldorf. I'm about 2 hours from Baltimore, about 2 hours from DC. Yeah, I'm a long way off, but not too far. Hey, pretty lady. I can't see your name. If you'll give Facebook permission to see your name, if you're on Facebook, you will have to give StreamYard permission to see your name. Oh, I think I know who that is. Hey, beautiful. So that I can see your name in your comments. All right. Martinez, California is in the house with us on Instagram. Yay. Also, while we're waiting, please invite. We also have Sacramento, Tandy. Invite your friends to join us as well. I'm going to invite a few friends on Instagram, and let's see if we can get a few people to join us so we can make this a party. Let's make this a party. Y'all, this is going to be some good stuff tonight. It really is. I'm so excited to talk with you guys because, you know, this just popped in my mind today while I was on LinkedIn, and it brought to mind something that had happened to me in the past. So I wanted to share that with you guys, get some feedback from you, of course, and also learn about your experiences with anxiety. Hey, Shug, beautiful. How you doing? Yep, I knew that's where it was. I was in Lowe's the other day. I wasn't in there long. I haven't been to Lowe's in a long time. Hey, beautiful daughter of mine. Thanks for joining me, baby girl. All right. So, y'all, we're going to get started because... So let me tell you what happened, why we're having this conversation. So I was on LinkedIn today, and one of the people that I follow posted about she had finally asked for help. And she'd gone to a therapist, and she was diagnosed with generalized anxiety disorder. And it immediately brought to mind when I was diagnosed with the same thing, but I didn't believe them, and I will tell you why. So I'm going to say around 2001, 2002-ish, somewhere in that area, I was going through some medical problems, and we couldn't figure out what was going on with me. I was weak. I was getting dizzy. I couldn't work. I was very lethargic. I was having these popping sensations in my brain, especially at night. It turns out that they were nocturnal seizures. Um, and it was just a lot going on. It was very debilitating. I was terrified. And let me tell you, before this happened, I had just gotten married in 2000. We had just built our house in 2002. So it was after 2002. My daughter was on full scholarship, so we didn't have to worry about that. Um, our finances were great. Life was great. I was happy. I was fulfilled. All of that goodness, right? All of that was going on with me, right? Hey, Greenery Goddess. And my life was good, but I was sick. I mean, sick. I would be on the couch and could barely lift my head up. I just didn't know what was going on with me. I didn't know if I had lupus. I didn't know if I had fibromyalgia. I didn't know if I had MS. So I was having them test me for everything. And I was beginning to get really, really worried. Well, I went to my primary care doctor at the time. I was on an HMO, I believe. And because they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me, and this is my only thing that I could figure out, from a medical perspective, they couldn't figure out what was wrong with me. They said that I had generalized anxiety disorder. And I looked at them and I was like, dude, I'm not anxious. I said, I'm anxious because I don't know what the Hammond Brown Jennings is going on with me, and I'm not trying to die. That's exactly what I told them. I said, I have a beautiful life. I have nothing to worry about right now. I am not anxious from a perspective from where I would need you to be putting me on some medication. And the other part of that for me was that for me, anxiety, and in what I do now with trauma healing coaching, anxiety is an emotion. Let's be clear about that, okay? It's an emotion that is created from external situations, circumstances, and things that are going on, or it is created because of some unprocessed trauma that we're dealing with. And it shows up because we haven't processed that trauma and we don't know what to do with the anxiety, okay? I hear it a lot with my clients, especially if they've dealt with childhood trauma, if they've dealt with domestic abuse, relationship trauma, and even workplace trauma. And let's be clear and let's be real. What we are going through now from a perspective of racial trauma, AKA historical trauma, many of us are very, very anxious. And if you're Black, you've been anxious all your life, pretty much. Am I right about it? You just never know when something's going to pop off. So we are always constantly in that, fight or flight, a lot of times, right? We always got to have our head on the swivel because we got to know what's going on, right? We need to know what's coming at us from front, back, left, and right, up and down. Okay. So here's the thing. What really got me was not one time during this conversation did the person ask me about what was going on in my life or what had been happening in my life. Okay. Because a lot of times the anxiety that we are feeling is created, one, from our thoughts about something that's going on or about to go on or something that has already happened. Because our thoughts create our feelings and our feelings create our emotions, right? And as a result of our emotions is when we decide how we're going to act, and that determines the result we're going to get. Okay? So my being anxious at that time was because I had been going for months back and forth to this doctor, this doctor, and that doctor, trying to get some understanding of what was going on with me from a physiological perspective inside my body and inside my head with all of the various symptoms that I had. So my anxiety was not the condition that was supposed to have been being treated. What was supposed to have been treated was my medical condition. But here's the thing. Many times we go to these doctors, and I'm going to even say to other people like therapists and coaches and counselors and so forth, psychiatrists, a lot of time, because we have to remember here in the Western world, we focus on the medical model. And most of the time, we're not dealing with the fact that we are multidimensional beings, okay? It's not just the physical. It's not just the mental. It's not just the emotional. It's not just the spiritual. We have to be treated in wholeness. And when we are going through something, we need to be looked at from the whole, not just one specific area. Because when you got 4 parts of you and you're only looking at one part, you are bound to miss other things that could be interconnected, like intersectionality, right? And because they weren't willing to look outside of what they knew, which was the medical model, they were very, very happy to prescribe me medication that I really did not need. Now, many of us, I have been in the healthcare industry since 1988. I've been in insurance and healthcare since 1988 for over 3 decades. Hey, Alicia, right? So I have a little bit of understanding, but I'm also an advocate for myself. I have no problem speaking up, speaking out, clapping back. Okay. You're not just going to tell me this is what's wrong with me. I need to understand all of it. And even if you decide to prescribe a medication for me, best believe I'm doing my research before I take it. No, ma'am, I am not going to take some medication that's going to give me a heart attack, blood clots, and so forth to get rid of a headache. No, ma'am, not going to do it. But that's another story for another day. Okay. But here's the thing. A lot of the anxiety that many of us are walking around with and having to deal with is related to unprocessed emotions, unprocessed and unhealed trauma. Because I don't care how great your childhood was, we've all still had some trauma in it. And let me explain what I mean by that. Because even the best parents can say something or do something consciously or unconsciously that can traumatize you, and you don't even realize that you're traumatized because you haven't done the work to figure out where that particular feeling, that fear, that thought, that uneasiness comes from. Perfect example. I internalized that I was not good enough. I internalized that I had to be the good girl in order to be seen. So I got all A's and B's. I was always in my books. I was cooking. I was cleaning. My mama didn't have to worry about waking me up most of the time. My mama didn't have to worry about taking care of my clothes. I was good. My room was always clean. I was the good girl. Where did I get that from? I don't recall my mother ever telling me that I had to do anything other than be black and die black, to be honest. So I don't even know. I didn't know where that came from. Okay. So even when we have great parents, or I'll give you another example to break it down a little bit easier. Maybe you are the sibling of someone who is very, very studious, or maybe the person is very, very creative, and your parents are really always bragging on that child. Not that they don't brag on you, they brag on you too, but there's a totally different way that they brag on the other child in your mind. Doesn't mean that it's true, but in your mind, you feel like they brag on your sibling more than, or all the time, or it's a little bit different than how they brag on you. So you internalize that, and you're constantly competing with your sibling, and you're always feeling as if you have to outperform everywhere, everybody, all the time. You were traumatized even though it wasn't intentional. And I know that's a little trivial, but it does happen. I talk about it with my clients all the time. They think, well, the only time that ever happened, and then when we break it down to show them the way their thoughts are and how it's created their feelings and their emotions and how they're acting and so forth, they're like, oh my God, you're right. And I'm like, no, you're right, because you have the answer. I didn't give you the answer. It was already up here, right? I don't give you the answers. You have the answers inside of you, right? Leaf and Lift is on Instagram, and she says, I am one of 5 girls. I understand this. And it's so easy. So many of us think we don't have any work to do. But if we were to really sit down and think about why we show up the way we do in relationships, with ourselves, at work, in friendships, if we were to really just start diving deep and peeling back the layers, we may find that there's some work to be done on inner child healing. Okay? But getting back to the anxiety and the trauma, because of the unhealed trauma and the unprocessed emotions that are related to things in our life, and some of those things may not even be from our past, it could be right now happening, right? We may be anxious, and we need to remove certain things. We need to set up boundaries. We need to enforce those boundaries. We need to check the people that we are communicating and in relationship with. We may need to make some changes in the place that we work. Maybe that place that we work is toxic. Yet, no one asks you those questions about your work environment, your home environment, your relationship, your past, any of those things when you went to the doctor, whether it's to a psychologist, whether it's a psychiatrist, whether it's a family practitioner, whatever kind of doctor you went to. If they're not asking all of those type questions, they're treating surface. And here's why. One, because we live and we operate on the medical model here in the Western world, right? Right? On Instagram, exclusive U1 says, also, mainstream America was teaching that mess in school in the 50s and 60s and 70s, that girls were always good girls and mind their elders and authority. Absolutely. Beautiful Pearl says, yes, I agree. Leaf and Liv says, I suffered with a migraine, but they wanted me to take an antidepressant. See, that's the kind of stuff that I'm talking about. Where is the migraine coming from? Because my husband has migraines, and a change from eating meat, eggs, and dairy and going completely plant-based minimized his migraines to all less than, he might have a migraine once every 2 months now. And if he gets a migraine, we know to automatically go and look at the ingredients in that food. Why do you need an antidepressant for a migraine? So we got to be careful about when doctors are prescribing us medications. We have got to be advocates and start using our voice, our power, and really speaking to them. Because here is the thing. When we can go back through and understand where that anxiety is coming from, we may find that removing those things, people, places, circumstances, situationships, will alleviate much of our anxiety. And we can use coping skills like somatic experience and moving our body, embodiment, yoga, meditation, breath work to help us manage anxiety that pops up occasionally. Now, let me preface this by saying this. There are some people who have some physiological things going on where their anxiety is on 1 million, okay? So I'm not saying that medication for those people is wrong. What I am saying is that a lot of times people are being prescribed medications and the whole only one box has been checked. You got 4 boxes. Remember, your mental, physical, spiritual, and emotional. All of those need to be checked. But not only that, we need to be checking the environments, the relationships, things that actually can cause anxiety and frustration, and that can drive your anxiety level and have your autonomic system on going crazy, and your sympathetic and your parasympathetic nervous system just out of whack. Okay? So here's the reason why we see so much of this happening, however. The reason why we see so much of this happening is because capitalism and commoditization, okay? If I can capitalize on profit and revenue, on the heartache, on the misery, on the trauma that we have inflicted on the people of this country in the world, versus actually doing something about the systemic problems, the oppression, the discrimination, the racism, the patriarchy, the white supremacy. It's all about that dollar, honey. It's about that cheddar. It's not about taking care of us. And let's be clear, the FDA is not there to protect us. The FDA tells these pharmaceutical companies and any other company that has to go through the FDA to get approval to release something, that as long as it's not killing us right away, it can kill us slowly. Go on out there and put that thing, get your cheddar, get your dollars. Let's be clear about that. Okay? So they have commoditized our anxiety. They have commoditized our depression. They've commoditized our trauma to line their pockets with basically blood money, because they're killing people. Now, I don't know how you feel about that, but that's my thinking on it. And as I was thinking about that thing today when that popped up, and I was thinking about, I remember the time they tried to give me some daggone antidepressants talking about I got generalized, and I ain't got no daggone generalized anxiety disorder. What I got is an idiot trying to tell me that I'm sick, and I'm sick in my mind, and I'm sick in my body. I'm not sick in my mind. Don't get me wrong now. There's nothing wrong with mental illness. I wish we had better resources, tools for people who are suffering with mental illness. That's why I am an advocate for healing trauma, for processing emotions, for uncovering, going a deep dive to understand who you are, how things happen to you, why you are the way you are, so that you can show up your authentic self, not who somebody told you you are. That's why I go so hard, okay? because I want us to create and curate the lives we want. I don't want us just existing, because many of us are just existing, and it's okay with the mass, because again, it's all about that cheddar. It's about capitalism in many cases. Alicia Golden on Instagram says, yes, using us as guinea pigs. Her Grace Journey says, truth, and Beauty for My Ashes says, you better preach. So I just want to encourage you, if you are dealing with anxiety, if you're dealing with high levels of stress, if you're dealing with overwhelm, and you are going to your doctor and they are telling you that you need to be on antidepressant and you need to be on this and you need to be on that, push back. Not because you're trying to be difficult, but because you're trying to save your life and make sure that you get the right things for yourself so that you can actually cope in this world. Because there's no sense in filling our bodies with these chemicals when we don't have to. There is a time and a place for medication. There is. Let's be clear, there is. I am not against medication. God gave these men and women the ability to create these medications, right? So they are good, but they can only be good and great for us when they are used properly, when we are actually treated as a whole and not as a part. Because our emotional, mental, spiritual, and physical all are working together. And when one part is out of sync, the other part has to do more work, and they eventually become out of sync as well. Okay? Think about it. If you're driving your car and you are not putting oil in the car, let's go there. What's going to happen? Oil is a very important component of that car, just like the tires are, just like the engine is, just like the transmission and windshield. All of these parts are working as a whole to make sure that car is functional and safe for us, right? But if we do not continue to put oil in that car and make sure that the oil levels are proper, that car is going to have some major problems. And the more you keep driving it without attending to it, it's going to cause even more issues for your vehicle. So I don't even know how much oil costs because I just go get the oil change. But let's say it's $5 for a quart of oil. I don't know how much it costs. But that $5 that you could have just used may end up costing you thousands of dollars because you did not attend to that one part and you didn't think about how that one part supports the whole. That's how our mental and emotional health needs to be thought about. Not just that, but our spiritual and our physical as well. So I hope this was helpful. Anybody got anything they want to share with me? I know Leaf and Lift shared a lot. Hey, Amy Pooh, Alicia, Her Grace Journey. A few other people had some comments and they understood exactly where I was coming from. How y'all doing over on Facebook? Any feedback, any comments for me? But definitely ask those questions. And if you are on medication and you are still having difficulty, determine if you need to talk to a therapist or a coach like myself. Okay? Determine that, because sometimes we need talk therapy. Sometimes we also need other types of therapy, if you will. Sometimes we need to incorporate some body movement in our life, like yoga, meditation, breath work, Zumba, dance. Y'all know I love to dance. I can't dance. I can dance, y'all. See, whoa. See, I can do the whoa. Ain't that how you do it? I can do it. But on a serious tip, if you are still having difficulties handling anxiety, if your palms are getting sweaty, your breath is quick, and it feels like your heart gonna jump out your chest, your sweating bullets, you are just nervous as I don't know what, and you're still on medication and it's not working and they're still trying to give you other medication, maybe you need other support outside of the medication. Yes, a therapist can help. Yes, a coach like myself can help. Yes, a coach and a therapist can work together to help you. So there are alternatives if you need help. Yes, the Capricorn in me loves to dance. Yes, ma'am. Right? And Beautiful Pearls 0106 says, from me losing my hair to get checked for EKG, then to get an ultrasound for my heart, now I have a lot of bills to pay and they still don't know what is going on. Y'all, beautiful. I understand exactly what you're saying, because let me tell you, I started having problems with my gallbladder back in right after I had my youngest daughter, and I went to doctor after doctor after doctor after doctor. I had what do you call those things when you got to drink the stuff, and I had all kinds of tests run. Nobody could tell me. I was treated for low iron deficiency. I was treated for what they told me that I had low hemoglobin. What else they told me? That I had IBS. They told me I had all kinds of things, okay, because they couldn't figure it out. And me, I did not. By the time I figured it out, y'all, I couldn't eat potato chips. I couldn't eat chocolate. I couldn't eat grits. I couldn't eat onions. I couldn't eat broccoli. I couldn't drink water. I couldn't drink Kool-Aid. I couldn't drink sugar. I couldn't do nothing but hurt. When they finally figured it out, and I'm gonna tell you how they finally figured it out. We have to really, because I kept saying, no, there is something going on with my stomach. I don't know what's going on, but y'all gonna treat me. And then I started remembering my family history on my dad's side, and remembered that my grandmother had her gallbladder removed. And I was like, I wonder if I have some calcification in my gallbladder, right? Y'all, my gallbladder used to hurt me so bad, I would have my children sitting on me. I would literally be in tears. Shell, you remember that? I would be in tears. I would be calling. I'm a grown woman with not grown children at the time, but children and a husband at the time. And I was crying out for my mama, y'all. That's how bad it was. That pain was no joke. If you've ever had gallbladder issues, and honey, that and gallbladder issues, a toothache, and back pain will have you being a crybaby crawling for your mama, okay? I promise you it will. I'm serious, okay? I can have a baby. I don't want no gallbladder problems. I don't want a backache, and I don't want a toothache. Those three things, don't want none of them, okay? Thank you, Lord. Okay. But anyway, how I figured it out was I had to ask them to tell them about my history. And then I had to make them give me the abdominal ultrasound. I was like, I'm not leaving here until y'all tell me what's wrong with me. I don't care what tests you got to run. I don't care how long it's going to take you. What we're not going to do is I'm not going home without an answer today. Every time I've gotten an answer, I had to put my foot down, literally. Okay. And that's when they found out that I had calcification in my gallbladder. Okay. Beautiful Pearls. I am going to keep you in prayer. Do some research. What's causing you to lose your hair? I don't know what your age is. I know I am almost 55, and my hair is thinning, of course. You know, it's not hereditary because my mom's hair is thick. Go back through your history and try to find out what is in your history. Also, speak with other women about what's going on. I'm sure you've done a lot of this, but find somebody who is willing to talk to you and is going to be a ally. No, I'm not even going to say an ally because I don't like that word. An accomplice in your medical care with you. Talk to alternative practitioners also. It could be a number of things. Look at your diet. There's so many different things. Successful failure on Instagram says, I'm learning that much of what is taught those in the medical field is not geared towards people of color. Just like you, Mom. She's my daughter. I'm asking. Amen. Alicia Golden says that is stress. Stress and no rest breaks your body down. And ladies and gentlemen, we definitely have to be focusing on stress. I'm sorry, on rest. Our rest is imperative for all four of our beings to be at optimum operation. We have to, and I am bad about not going to bed at a decent hour. The difference is I don't go to bed at a decent hour and I get up late. So I still get my hours in, but my body still needs to go to bed at a decent hour. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress. Okay. Amy says, Chicky 1984 says she was losing her hair due to medication. And those are the things. You're 38. So you could be going through perimenopause. That's another thing. I was actually going through perimenopause in my early 30s, but because I was in my early 30s, the symptoms that I was having, they did not think it was perimenopause. What our medical community fails to understand is that there are so many unnatural things in our foods, all these genetically modified things that, and things that we cannot pronounce in our food. And over time, it is causing us women, and I can't speak for men because I'm not a man. I don't know what y'all go through. But for women and young girls are coming on their menstrual cycles very, very early. They are having lots of problems. For women, we are starting to go through menopause very early. So the perimenopause starts very, very early. And they refuse to test us to see if our estrogen and testosterone and and progesterone are at the levels that they should be, because they think they know better. I was going through early menopause then. And so you could be going through perimenopause, and there are thousands. When I say there are thousands of symptoms of perimenopause, some of the symptoms was actually the nocturnal, the weird sensations that I was having in my head. Some of the sensations can be your hand going numb, symptoms of perimenopause. There are so many things. It's just phenomenal how much that, that could be going through. So definitely, I'm sorry, guys, my hair got attached to my ring. Definitely ask questions and do the research. And medication, medication it's just crazy when you listen to the commercials. My husband and I are always like, let's listen to see what the side effects are, y'all. It's like, okay, you can die just because you just want to, have, be able to breathe better. I'm gonna die, or I could have a stroke just because I don't want to get pregnant. Y'all, some of the side effects are just absolutely crazy. Successful failure says a lot of the issues we are dealing with is based off of a lot of what we eat. They are killing us slowly. I completely agree with that, because being now that we are plant-based, there are so many things that my body, I have no problems with anymore. It is what it is. Eggs, milk, meat, because all of these things are treated with something for the mass production, right? If I rather have, she said, your toe gonna fall off. Lord have mercy. Laughing my butt off, says Alicia Golden. So that's all I got for you guys. If you need any assistance, if you are need someone to talk to, please DM me, reach out to me. And I'm not talking just to work with you. I'm just talking about just having someone to bounce questions off of, to get ideas. I am not just here as a coach. I'm here as a woman, as a friend, as someone who cares. I care. I want the best for all of us. I want us all to win. Okay. So if you don't have any other questions or any feedback, I'm going to let y'all go. I cook my husband and I. Every time I get on here, y'all, I kind of talk about spaghetti. My husband likes my spaghetti. I like my spaghetti. We like spaghetti. So that's what we eating over here. Okay. Oh, I think we had a comment about aloe. Aloe vera plant helps many things, ladies. Yes. I had an aunt that used, and I'm gonna leave off of this. My aunt Joanne, rest and bless her soul. She used to drink a mixture of this aloe vera thing to help her body. So it is definitely good. It's good internally, it's good externally. I use aloe vera on my scalp. You can use it on your skin. Y'all, aloe vera is all of that. Okay. All right. Alicia says they're having fish. Oh my goodness. When I go to Barbados or when I go to an island where I know that the stuff is caught fresh, that's when I eat meat. I will eat meat then. Because it doesn't bother me because it's caught fresh. Oh my goodness. My baby girl says they're having spaghetti for dinner as well. Definitely my child. Definitely my child. I was there. All 10 and a half hours of that. Yes. So y'all go on about y'all business. I hope y'all have a great rest of your evening. We're going to have a great rest of our evening. Again, just know that you have the right to ask those questions. You have the right to push back. Be your own advocate. Use your voice. It is your power. All right. Vassy Contour. Thank you so much. Thank you. She says she loves my hair. I think it's a she. Lord Hammers, I can't think of your name. On Facebook, my Lowe's friend says that she got burned and she used aloe. Yes, aloe. Yes, kind of like Vaseline. Love you too, Lizette. Yes, you are so welcome. It changed my life with plants. And Amy, thank you too. You are welcome. You guys have a great one. And until the next time we talk, remember to continue to plant the seeds that are going to propel you forward so that you can create and curate the life that you want and become the woman that God has predestined you to be so that you can continue to grow, thrive, and flourish. I love you. Take care, guys.